everyone, it's Belinda. Welcome to a new video. I've been really into watching knitting podcasts and thought that I would try making my own. I don't know if I really call it a podcast, but just some knitting videos because I have been super inspired lately to knit, which is a relief because for most of the year I've been really struggling with knitting and feeling motivated and actually liking the projects that I have been working on and the finished products that come out of it. So I got my tea. I feel like everyone on knitting podcasts has some kind of cozy drink. So I have lavender tea. I've been growing lavender for the past couple years and I finally harvested it to make into a syrup. So it's perfect for making tea or adding to my lattes, and that's what I have to drink today. Yes, so I wanted to do kind of a fall winter knitting plans video, although it's November when I'm filming this and it will hopefully be November by the time this comes out. So I've been already working on things and I have finished one thing, but I figured I would talk about my winter plans as well and just kind of what I'm working on. So first thing I finished was this sweater. You can't really see it because it's really big. It is the caramel sweater by Petite knit, and I made it in a couple sizes bigger because I really wanted to go for like an oversized look. It's with yarn from Big Little Yarn Co., which has been a dream to work with. I had the alpaca, suri alpaca lace, and I mixed it with merino fingering weight, and it's like such a soft, squishy, warm knit. I brought it with me on my trip to Europe and I really tried to bring a limited amount of items with me, so I ended up getting a lot of wear out of this and it was perfect. It was warm, but it was also breathable for when it got a little warmer, and I just love it. I love the color. I've been wanting to order yarn from Big Little Yarn Co. forever because it is owned by an Asian woman, indie dyer. She lives in Japan and everyone always says how nice her yarn is, and I totally agree. I love it. I love this green color. I'm obsessed with green right now, so it is perfect. Yes, this is my first finished object and I love it. And also, speaking of the caramel sweater, when I was in Amsterdam I got this punk rock unicorn yarn. It's in the base sole in the color Truffle. I got it from Stephen and Penelope, and I'm hoping, I guess I'm thinking about making another caramel sweater, but one that's actually in my size, because the green one was like 2 sizes bigger, and I think it would be nice. I only have like one really brown sweater. I guess I have one brown sweater. It's kind of a mixed brown, blue, orange. And I have a brown vest I made with Rasta, so kind of like a chunky cable vest, but nothing kind of like this lighter fabric yarn, and I'm really excited. I have to find a mohair to pair with this or some alpaca, but that'll be fun too. And then when I was also at Stephen Penelope, I got this Qing Fibre fingering weight. It's in the color Matcha, and like I was saying, I'm really obsessed with green right now. I got sweater quantities of both of these, so with this one I'm not sure exactly what I want to make yet, but I will make something. I probably won't make something this season because honestly I have a lot of knits going on. Another recent yarn acquisition is from La Bien-Aimée, and this is the cashmerino fingering weight and in the color Winterfell, and then this is some mohair silk also in the color Winterfell. So I am thinking of making a balloon cardigan by Petite knit with this. I was supposed to kind of buddy knit this with my friend, but she's already gotten started and is well on her way with hers, and I just have been inspired to knit other stuff lately, so I'm just kind of going with the feel and what is making me excited to knit, which is kind of how I ended up with so many works in progress. I'm usually a single project knitter because I want to like get it done. But now we have multiple projects going on, so I'm excited to start with this. The cashmere merino is really soft, and also the mohair feels really good too. So hopefully coming soon-ish. It might be a nice like spring item for spring too, so not super eager. Not eager is not the right word. Not super wanting to get it done quick. Yeah. Okay, going into something that's a work in progress. It is this cardigan that I am kind of, I guess, designing myself, which has been the real problem. I can't speak. The real problem, because I'm not going off a pattern. It's taking me forever because I don't know if I like it or not. And I feel like having worked with mohair and mixing it with some kind of a wool base and then blocking it, I always end up with a fabric that's a little different, or a garment that looks a little different than what it is like when I'm knitting it. So I don't know, but I've been using this one-of-a-kind yarn from the Wandering Flock. It looks like this. I have a bunch of it. It is a merino cashmere nylon DK weight yarn, and it has been knitting up really like beautifully. It's super soft. I've been pairing it with some Rowan mohair, and this one has some variation. It's that like really big skein with variation, and that's kind of something that I wanted. The garment is kind of inspired by J-Hope from BTS. I wanted to kind of do a knitting collection, I guess, inspired by BTS, and I have pieces that I have already made that kind of suit the other members, and I thought this would be kind of nice. It kind of reminds me of his song Blue Side, and he has, I'll put a picture, he has this giant oversized sweater, and it's got the drop shoulder kind of a construction, and I think he also really likes wearing those kind of like oversized boxy tops, and that's kind of what inspired this. I got, so I mean, so far the body is mostly finished. I think I am going to take apart the ribbing and then just kind of lengthen it, but I think I want to finish the sleeves first. I knitted this whole sleeve, and then I decided I want to take it all apart. I think because the decrease is just, I want it to be smaller towards the cuff, so I think I need to decrease a bit more often. So this needs to just get taken apart and reknit, which is why it's been taking forever. I think I reknit the body, I don't know, 4 or 5 times, not in its entirety, but like the top half at least. That's a project that I need to work on. Not very inspired because of how many struggles I've been having, but it's in progress. And then I have also started this in the summer. It is the Costal tank by Charissa Lamb. It is just like a nice ribbed tank top. I made this in a light blue color, and I think it's just really nice to wear because it just molds to your body because of the ribbing. It's got the twisted rib. The yarn I've been using is from the Farmer's Daughter. I'm not sure what the base is called, but it is fingering weight and silk and wool, probably merino, mixed together. It's really nice. It makes like a really squishy fabric, which I like. When you have wool, it ends up being really squishy, but it's also got silk, so it's kind of got shiny quality to it. And I'm hoping that it'll make a good summer knit. Like, it won't be too warm. I've been working on this. Not super enthusiastic now that it is cold weather season. Mostly done. I just need to finish the straps, basically. Yeah, there's the back straps, and then it'll be done. Okay. Next knit I have is finished object that I decided I want to fix. So it is the vest, I think vest number 2 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. And I had this really old Malabrigo fingering weight yarn for like years ago, and then I decided I finally wanted to like knit it up because I wanted to get rid of some of my old stash. I'm mixing it with some Rowan mohair, and I really love it. I love the color, how the colors have been turning out, and I don't know, I love how it feels. It's fun to wear, but because I ran out of yarn, it is kind of an awkward length, and that's why I decided that I would take it apart, the bottom, and then fix it. So before it was just the wool, the base on the bottom and the ribbing, and it was just, I think it was just an awkward length. Like I would have to wear something really high-waisted to not show my tummy, and I felt like I just wasn't able to wear to as much as I really wanted to because of that length. So I'm gonna try to do something like I did here. I was definitely running out of yarn, this is why I did this, where I have just like the mohair, and then I have a stripe of mixed mohair and the wool base, and then just the mohair again, and I'm hoping that will kind of extend it to make it more wearable. I made this before in light blue color, and I really love it, and I love the length of that one too. It's more versatile, so hopefully this will get done soon. I just started picking up the bottom last week, but I have gotten a new project that I started that I'm super excited about. So that's why this one has not made much progress, even though it would probably be done in like a day. So the project that I just like cast everything aside to start is this Snoqualmie cardigan. It's a cable knit cardigan. Then the pattern is by Michele Wang. And I'm so excited. I got this beautiful Noro Ito. It is in the color 22, I guess, Sendal. So it's kind of like these neutrals blended. It is a slug yarn, so there's some parts of it that's a little thinner, some parts of it that is really thick. And I was a little worried. I've been wanting to make this cardigan for a really long time, but it's kind of hard to get, at least where I live, to get the recommended yarn. I've been putting off because it is kind of expensive because it's a big cardigan. And I mean, I can't really say because Noro is also like super expensive, but I saw this yarn and I kind of fell in love. And I fell in love with the idea of a cable fabric in a yarn that is variegated in color. I think it'd be really beautiful. Like when I was in Europe, in Paris, I'd go to the luxury stores and then look at their knitwear, especially at Chanel. And I guess that kind of really inspired me because they had a lot of different knitwear with a lot of colors, or like very, I don't know, interesting fabrics made out of the yarns. Like there was a lot of embellishments, or there's some kind of, what do you call it, embroidery aspect to it, and they would mix fibers a lot. You'd have sometimes like some sparkly stuff put in there, and maybe that would be the yarn that they use, and then the pattern would be like a cable knit something. And I thought it would just be really cool. It'd be really fun to do this. And this yarn kind of calls for smaller needles than the pattern does. I made a swatch, which I think turned out really cute. Here it is, and I think it'll be okay with the slug kind of yarn, and also with it being non-superwash. I think I'll be able to kind of turn it into a fabric that I like. It's also not so heavy, I feel like, because I've knit with some of the pattern calls for like a chunky weight. I think that's what they call it, a chunky weight. So some of the other yarns that I've knit with at a chunky weight and made a garment out of end up being a bit heavy, so I like that about this. So yeah, I'm just like really excited. This is the back so far. I'm loving how it's turning out. It's not too stripy. I think this is supposed to be kind of self-striping, and like my swatch definitely kind of has stripes to it. But I think because this is going to be, you know, a wider thing, it won't be so stripy looking. And I also just love doing cables. I think it's really fun. Sometimes, you know, you're in a stockinette mood. Sometimes you're in a ribbing mood. Not very often, because ribbing takes forever. But sometimes you are in a ribbing mood. And sometimes I'm just like in a cable mood. There's something to do that's interesting. And I'm just like super excited. I'm loving how it's turning out. I finished the ribbing on it, so I'm starting on the actual pattern. I've done like one cable. I think I have another cable coming up. And I also, what I want to do with this project is record how much time it takes, because people are always like, Belinda, how long did it take to make that? And I'm like, I don't know, some weeks, because I don't really count. So I think it'd be kind of fun to get an actual like time amount for this project. But I think it's also would be nice because, you know, if you're a knitter or a crocheter, you know, people are always like, oh, can you knit me this, or can you crochet me this? And I'm like, no. Because it takes so much time to do, and I don't know, I just like, I do it for fun. And so I've made some kind of garments for like my family or someone who is special to me. But yeah, especially something like this. But I'm excited. Yeah, we'll see how long it takes me. I'm sure it's going to take a long time, because even this and my swatch has taken like 5 hours so far. So we'll see how this turns out. Yeah, so I'm excited. So that is it for my fall and winter knitting plans video. I have a lot of projects that are in progress, and hopefully I will be able to finish some things before the end of winter. I want to say luckily, but it's not really that luckily. I live in a place where it stays cold for a very long time, so definitely have good chances of being able to finish these items and then also getting to wear them. So let me know if you like this video and what other topics you would like to see in relation to knitting, because I don't know, I've just been really into knitting podcasts and being able to share my knits and getting to see what other people are working on. And I think also for me, I want to be really intentional about what I knit, since I have a lot of objects already. Want to kind of uplift different designers and different yarn dyers, especially if they're people of color. That's something that I've been really trying to look for these days when I buy yarn, or the stores that I go to, just being able to support diverse and creators. So very excited to get started with this knitting stuff. Let me know if there's any topics you want to hear me talk about. I think I'm going to do a video on maybe how much my knits cost, because I do invest a lot in my knits, and I think people don't always realize, you know, how much really a high quality garment costs and the realities of it. So kind of want to share about that, but also, I don't know, it may be a fun topic. And what else? I don't know, sustainability in knitting, that's something that I also have been thinking about a lot lately, so maybe I'll make something on that. But yes, I will end the video here before it gets too long. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I see you soon with a new video. Bye!